What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with a little bit of commentary about Destiny's latest free April update that you guys probably just downloaded and are playing right now. I'm not really going to talk about the update because as an update goes, I think it's pretty weak. Really all they did was reskin about 95% of the content and try to call it new. And, it's kind of funny how they're just so proud of themselves. They brought in all this year one stuff that they had made irrelevant, and they keep saying they don't want year one stuff to come forward, and then they keep on bringing it back, and they want praise for it. And overall, I just don't think Bungie has really any idea of the direction they want to take Destiny. But what I'm actually going to talk about today is how I think this new update is just a cheap microtransaction cash grab on the part of Bungie and Activision. They're acting all proud because they put all these sandbox updates into the game. Quite honestly, sandbox updates like these should take place more often than every 5 or 6 months, and it should just be part of the normal process of the game, not part of a super hyped up update that occurs every 5-6 months. Like I said, there are plenty of free-to-play games that update their games on a monthly basis sometimes with a lot more content than the stuff Destiny puts in for free. And it's hilarious to see Bungie being so proud of their free update when other games, such as Warframe, for example, just dropped a free update that was over 5 gigs and had a ton of new content, graphic updates to the game, sandbox changes, new weapons, new Warframes, all kinds of stuff. So there are companies much smaller with tinier budgets than Bungie that are doing it a lot better, and they could take some lessons from. But anyways, back to my main point. I think this update is mainly just a microtransaction cash grab. Yet again, when this update released, there's a bunch of new stuff at Eververse, and people are again spending a ton of silver on the game. Silver is again the #1 trending item on PlayStation Store and Xbox as well, and people are just buying up these microtransactions. There's a reason that Bungie went ahead and put the Sterling Treasure Box into Eververse as a microtransaction for 200 silver. Now, I understand they give you 3 boxes a week for free if you play the weekly PvP, and if you get one from the Postmaster and you get one for playing Prison of Elders, that's all fine and good, except for the most part, the boxes really don't have a great drop rate on them, from what I've seen. And they know that most of their player base is super impatient. Everybody wants to be the special snowflake who has the new and most, good-looking armor. So what they're doing here is they're putting the Taken armor, they're putting the new armor that supports the chroma into these boxes for microtransactions, knowing that all the impatient little 12-year-olds are going to blow $50 on day one to try to get a full set of Taken armor. And there's already reports of, you see people with full sets of the new armor 2 or 3 hours after the updates dropped. And people on the forums, there's all kinds of posts saying, hey, I spent $35 on the Sterling Treasure Box. Hey, I spent $50 on the Sterling Treasure Box. There's a reason for that. And there's a reason that they also put the Vanguard and the Crucible boosters into those boxes, because one of the only other ways to get the new armor that the Chroma works with is to actually get packages from your factions in the Crucible. So they just further wanted to entice people to spend this money on these boxes to get, level your rep faster. So, and it's just really aggravating to see them going in this direction with Destiny when this game had so much potential. I say had now. I used to say it has potential, but now it just had potential because it seems that the only thing Bungie's concerned with is adding in more microtransactions to try to milk more of the gullible player base for their money. I mean, you guys think that these microtransactions are funding the live team to put out more DLC content, which is what they originally told us, but look at the DLC content that you've had so far. Well, you had Sparrow Racing. Well, I'm sure that was real difficult to put into the game. You had this April update, which did what? It reskinned 95% of the content that was already in the game. The new Taken boss in the Archon Priest Strike is actually the same Taken boss you fight in the Rocket Yards when the Taken event happens. Yeah, it's all brand new content, just like Bungie said in their Vidoc. It's hilarious how this works and how people just continue to fall for this time and time again. And it just really aggravates me to see this. And, I'm going to get into the final part of my video here where I know people are going to say, well, it's my money, why do you care how I spend it? And I see all the big-time Destiny YouTubers using this excuse. Well, it's my money. Why are people so concerned with how I'm spending my money? I personally don't care how you spend your money. If you want to blow $50 on stupid microtransaction boxes, that's your prerogative. What I do care about is when it affects the gaming industry and the game as a whole, which it is definitely doing with Destiny. When you blow all that money on stupid items like this, and so many people do it, it sends Bungie the message that, hey, this is okay. We don't have to try hard anymore. We don't have to actually put content into our game. All we have to do is put out some silly new emotes and microtransactions every other update, and people are going to buy them in droves. I'd almost be willing to bet they probably made more money on these Sterling Treasure boxes in the first few days of this April update than they did off of the House of Wolves DLC or the Dark Blood DLC. Because, I mean, people are just blowing money on this left and right. I mean, seeing that someone spent $50 to get a couple of taken armor pieces just makes me laugh. You just spent the price of you spent the price of a full brand new game to get a couple of cosmetic armor items. It just blows my mind. It's hilarious. So I do care when your spending habits lead to the eventual decline and downfall of the gaming industry, which is what we're seeing, because this is already running rampant in the mobile gaming industry on cell phone. And what Bungie has basically seen, Activision has basically seen, is, hey, we can just turn Destiny into a mobile game on console and masquerade it as this MMO that has like 1/100th of the content of most normal games. And we'll just run it like a mobile game. You know, Activision, if you listen to their shareholder meetings, they want to get into the mobile gaming thing. They see all the money that it makes, and they want to get in on that. So that's all this is, and I'm tired of the YouTubers defending it. And now we're even seeing this, watch me open my Sterling Treasure box every week. So they're trying to encourage their own followers and fans to do this and, you know, buy these boxes. And it's really aggravating. They want to see the game succeed, of course, so they can keep their little easy meal ticket. And it's just shameless, lazy content to put out these engram and package opening videos. And, you know, of course, the YouTubers say they don't care how you spend their money because, you know, you'll watch them blow 20, 30 bucks on some Sterling Treasure boxes. And they'll make that all back in one video when 200, 400, 500,000 people watch them opening their treasure box. It's just hilarious. And that's pretty much what I'm going to close on, guys. Like I said, I don't care how you spend your money, but when it starts to hurt the overall development of the game and the gaming industry so heavily, it needs to be called out and it needs to be stopped. You guys have got to stop supporting this garbage with Destiny, because it's only going to get worse. Because basically what you're telling Bungie is that, hey, it's okay. You guys can keep doing these terrible business practices with your game, and we're going to always support it. So there's no need for them to actually put any real meaningful content into the game as long as they can keep making all this money off these microtransactions. So that's kind of my little tangent and rant I wanted to go off on today. And again, I think this recent update by Bungie was just a cheap cash grab on their part to try to make a ton of money off microtransactions to, you know, put back in their own pockets, because the money is obviously not going back into the game. And that's one of the reasons people will tell me, oh, well, you play Warframe and support Warframe, and it's a game with microtransactions. And, you know, that's fine. That's good, a valid criticism. But at the same time, what I will say with Warframe is they put the money back into the game. You can see when the developers put out a 5 gig update where they've made the graphics a better high definition, when they put new content into the game, when they put new map sets into the game, when they've made all the improvements to the game that the people are asking for on a constant basis, monthly at times, and they do it for free. The money goes back into the game. You see the game develop and improve because of the people who do decide to give the developers their money. With Bungie and Activision and a lot of other microtransactions, that's not the case. You know, even with Halo 5, as much as I hate the rec packs and the microtransactions of Halo 5, you know, 343 puts in new maps. They put in new content almost monthly in the game for free. They don't charge you anything for it. They expand upon the game and the content that's in there. And they actually, you know, make a good effort to do that. You can't say that with Bungie or Activision. They just continue to milk you for your money. They don't care if you have good and meaningful, fun content to play in the game. So that's all I'm going to say, guys. I'm just, you know, I think it's a bad move. I think every month or two that they keep adding more stuff to Eververse, they get closer and closer to that pay-to-win model, and I think you're just going to see it get worse with Destiny. And you guys have, you know, if you play the game, you got to stop spending $40 to $50 on these just ridiculously stupid microtransactions, because all you're doing, again, is just telling them that it's perfectly okay for them to keep doing it. And you can't expect anything to ever improve if you continue to go on and be complacent with it. And that's the other problem I have with the big Destiny community, all the YouTubers who just continue to support all this stuff. You know, the people with the biggest voice who could make the most difference just continue to remain silent. So that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and the commentary. I'm sure this probably made a lot of people mad, and they're going to come call me out in the comments, but that's perfectly okay. Either way, I'd like to see some discussion down below. We can get into this. Tell me know what you guys think about the recent update, if you're playing it, if it brought you back to the game. In my case, I didn't see anything that even made me remotely want to start playing Destiny again. But anyways, that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you again next time.